Let's move on with that. Okay. So we did up to probably 33, 133 in the last class, and now I would like to start with from 34, and let's start with 34. The first word that comes is strut. Okay, what's strut? Strut is to walk in a stiff or proud way that suggests arrogance or pomposity, to support a structure with boards. That's the secondary meaning. He strutted as he marched. The next word is undermine. Undermine, to weaken something by removing or wearing away materials from its base or from beneath it. To diminish or weaken, debilitated, injured, harmed, disabled, laid up. The recent corruption scandals have undermined many people's faith in city government. So this is undermine. Okay, so and what's the next word? Undermine, weak kora, durbal kore phela. The recent corruption. Okay, so what about ambidextrous? Ambi is both. Dexterous is skill. So ambidextrous is very skillful and versatile, able to use the right and the left hand with equal skill. A switch hitter in baseball should be naturally ambidextrous. So ambidextrous is very skillful and versatile, able to use the right and left hand with equal skill. Switch hitter in baseball should be okay. So 37 is beleaguered. Somebody who feels harassed, hemmed in, or under severe pressure. Somebody or something surrounded with an army besieged stress. As soon as the city was beleaguered, the life became more subdued as the citizens began their long wait for outside. As in beleaguered মানে সমস্যার মধ্যে থাকা অথবা চারিদিক দিয়ে যদি শত্রুদের দ্বারা যদি পরিবেষ্টিত থাকে এই ধরনের. As soon as the city was beleaguered, the life became more subdued as the citizens began their long wait for outside assistance. What about 38? Choleric. Showing anger or irritation. His flushed, angry face indicated as choleric. Nature. His flushed, angry face. Choleric. Is that showing anger or irritation? Is showing anger. Choleric is not. So with anger or irritation. It's raganito. Dupe. What's that? Dupe, to persuade or induce somebody to do something by trickery or deception. Dupe someone. To persuade, huh? That's it. Okay. Okay, so the confident, mellow guys think it's fun when you dupe him. Huh? That's it. Okay, what's the next word? The next word is epithet. What's that? Epithet is a descriptive word or phrase added to or substituted for the same name of somebody or something, highlighting a feature or quality, an abusive, insulting word or phrase, nickname, description, affiliation. The fight began over a racial epithet used by one of the customers. নামকরণ, কোনো নামে ডাকা এই ধরনের, এখানে epithet ওইভাবে use করা হয়েছে. Okay, so what about the next one? The next one is 41 is flippant. Flippant is showing a lack of seriousness that is thought inappropriate, frivolous, glib, dismissive, flip, informal, superficial, facetious, jokey, insouciant. So flippant is not serious, showing a lack of seriousness that is thought inappropriate, frivolous, glib, dismissive, flip, informal, superficial, facetious, jokey, and insouciant. Your flippancy at this serious moment is offensive. 42 holo harrow. What's that? Disturbing, upsetting, traumatic, distressing, tormenting, vexing, dreadful, worrying, stressful. A piece of firm, it has secondary meaning. So harrowing situation is that's very upsetting or traumatic. A piece of farm equipment with sharp teeth or disc that is used to break up soil and clouds of dirt and to even up a plowed field. I don't want to harry you at this time by asking you to recall the details of your unpleasant experience. I don't want to harry you at this time of by asking you to recall the details. Harrow. What about ineluctable? The next word is ineluctable. Impossible to avoid, irresistible, not to be escaped, inescapable. That's ineluctable fate. Means you can't avoid that. He felt that his fate was ineluctable and refused to make any attempt to improve his lot. That's ineluctable. What about 44 is lucid, clear and easily understood, intelligible, rational, eloquent, shining, luminescent, and emitting light. Her explanation was lucid enough for a child to grasp. So lucid is okay. Lucid is very easy, clear and easily understood, intelligible, rational, eloquent, shining, luminescent, emitting light. Her explanation was lucid enough for a child to grasp. 45 is nugatory. Nugatory is having no importance whatsoever, trivial, having no legal force, not valid. This agreement is nugatory, for no court will enforce it. This agreement is nugatory, for no court will enforce it. So nugatory. Next word is 46 is plod. What's that? To work with a heavy trudge, lumber, assess, bhari, pai, plod. To work slowly but steadily, spatially on something uninteresting. Slow, heavy steps. No quack selling nostrum is going to cheat me. So no quack is hature doctor, imposter. Selling nostrums, that's going to cheat me. And quam, 47 is quam. A sudden feeling of uncertainty or apprehension, especially a misgiving about an action or conduct, feeling of unease, doubt, fear, disquiet, a sudden pang of nausea, feeling sick. His qualms of conscience had become so great that he decided to abandon his plans. His qualms of conscience meaning vivek. So qualm হলো এটা করবো কি করবো না দ্বিধা. What about Saturnine? Saturnine is gloomy, melancholy, sullen, dejected, depressed. Do not be misled by his Saturnine countenance. He is not as gloomy as he looks. Do not be misled by his Saturnine countenance. He is not as gloomy as he looks. Saturnine. 49 is stipple. Stipple holo to paint, draw, or engrave something. Using dots or short dabbing strokes to mark something with dots or speckles. It holo to paint, draw, or engrave something using dots or decorated in 3 colors with gold lines and heavy gold stipple. That is the stipple holo to paint, draw, or engrave something using dots or short dabbling stroke to mark something with dots or speckles. Decorated in 3 colors with gold lines and heavy speckles. What about torpid? 50 would say as a lacking physical or mental energy, sluggish, dormant, numb, languorous, listless, apathetic, and indolent. In character, he was not malignant, but he was intellectually torpid and of a credulity which almost passes belief. Torpid also lacking physical or mental energy, sluggish, dormant, numb, languorous, listless. Torpid meaning reactive. What are 51? 51, abet. To assist somebody to do something, especially something illegal, connive, inside. She was unwilling to abet him in this swindle he had planned. She was unwilling to abet him in this swindle he had planned. It was abet. What about 52? 52 brusque. Abrupt, blunt, or curt in manner or speech, offhand, rough, brisk, rough, harsh, terse, short. She was offended by his brusque reply. She was offended by his brusque reply. What about the next one? Consecrate. Consecrate to declare or set apart a building, area of ground or spot as holy. To dedicate somebody or something to a particular purpose, to cause a custom to be revered, to ordain a priest as a bishop. We shall consecrate our lives to this noble purpose. Consecrate. The next word is desuetude. Desuetude is disuse, the condition of not being in use. Despite the long years of desuetude, the old manual typewriter seemed to work just fine. Despite the long years of desuetude, the old manual typewriter seemed to work just fine. Epiphany. Epiphany হচ্ছে sudden realization, a sudden intuitive leap of understanding, spatially as a through an ordinary but striking occurrence. The supposed manifestation of a divine being. The supposed manifestation of a divine epiphany. It was epiphany. Epiphany হচ্ছে হঠাৎ একটা যদি বোধোদয় হয়, he came to an understanding. It came to him in an epiphany what his life's work was to be. So it's epiphany. Verse 56. 56 is globe. To feel or express smug self-satisfaction about something such as achievement, a position, or somebody else's misfortune. Revel, wallow, exalt, rejoice, smirk, delight. As you gloat over your ill-gotten wealth, do you think of the many victims you have defrauded? As you gloat over your ill-gotten wealth, do you think of the many victims you have defrauded? What about indefatigable? Never showing any signs of getting tired or relaxing and before, untiring, unflagging, unrelenting, remorseless, unfaltering. He was indefatigable in his constant efforts to raise funds for the Red Cross. Indefatigable, it would never get tired. Number 58 is middling. Middling is of average size, quantity, quantity or precision, neither good nor bad, especially in health or mood, ordinary and unexceptional, run of the mill. He was of middling stature and dark complexion. He was of middling stature and dark complexion. What was picaresque? Of literature, having rogue as hero, then relating to or characteristic of rogues, post-fiction, featuring the adventures of a roguish hero. His plot is picaresque and fabulous, slightly demented. What is demented? Demented? A little bit crazy. Okay, so slight, when we use as a verb, is snub somebody, to trick somebody rudely by deliberately ignoring him or her, to think of or treat something as important. Very small, unsubstantial, hypersensitive and ready to take offense at any discourtesy. Bertha was always on the lookout for real or imaginary slights. Hypersensitive and ready to take offense at any discourtesy. Bertha was always on the lookout for real or imaginary slights. Turgid হচ্ছে pompous, boring, and overcomplicated, swollen and overflowing. The turgid river threatened to overflow the levees and flood the countryside. Turgid, pompous, boring, and overcomplicated, swollen and overflowing. The turgid river threatened to overflow the levees and flood the countryside. Number 62 is arcane. What's that? Arcane is difficult or impossible to understand, requiring secret knowledge to be understood. What was arcane to us was clear to the psychologists. That arcane. Number 63 is chirping. Chirping is complaining or finding fault or tending to critical, dissatisfied, discontented, and disapproving and disparaging. Her editor's comments and welcoming constructive criticism, Lexi appreciated her editor's comments, finding them free of chirping. Okay, what about the next one? 64. Contusion, an injury to the body in which skin and bone are not broken but damage is done to tissues under the skin, causing a bruise, discolorization, black eye, shiner, welt, bump. She was treated for contusions and abrasion. She was treated, treated for contusions and abrasions. Is contusion. Whatever the next word is, ensconce. To make somebody or yourself comfortably established as the ready to stay a long while, settle in comfortably, entrench, hide away. The parents thought that their children were ensconced safely in the private school and decided to leave for Europe. The parents thought that their children were ensconced safely in the so that's ensconced. Number 66 is finicky. What's that? Difficult to please and tending to concentrate on small or unimportant details. Fussy, fastidious. Complicated by trivial details. The old lady was finicky about her food and ate very little. The old lady was finicky about her food and ate very little and finicky. Okay, so we are going to cover up to 66 today. Why don't you just check out from 1 to 66 and then we'll move on to the other stuffs. Okay, number one. One is ostensible. Ostensible is seeming to be true or genuine, but open to doubt, apparent, professed, pretended, seeming, alleged, superficial. আপাত দৃষ্টিতে যেটা মনে হয়, people sometimes believe media's statements because of their ostensible authority. Number two is diatribe. Diatribe is bitter verbal or written attack on somebody or something, invective, tirade, harangue. Could be diatribe মানে কি খুবই তাদের তিক্ত গালিগালাজ হতে পারে এই ধরনের ভৎসনা. During the lengthy diatribe delivered by his opponent, he remained calm and self-controlled. Number three is reticent. Reticent is unwilling to communicate very much, talk freely, or reveal all facts about something, reserved, uncommunicative, and inclined to silence. He just preferred reticent employees to loquacious ones. He just reticent. Reticent হলো যারা almost কথাই বলতে চায় না ধরনের নির্বিকার বলতে থাকে. So whatever dissemble, to put on a false appearance in order to conceal facts, feelings or intentions, disguise, pretend, feign, mislead. Even though John tried to dissemble his motive for taking modern dance, we all knew that he was there not to dance but to meet girls. Whatever the next one, number five is parsimonious. Parsimonious, stingy, excessively frugal, very ungenerous, thrifty, miserly, tight-fisted, sparing, mean, penny pinching, and tight. His parsimonious nature did not permit him to enjoy any luxuries. Okay, what's the next one? Okay, the next one is affable. Affable is good-natured, friendly, and easy to talk to. Courteous, jovial, gregarious, but don't be fooled by her affable nature. Consternation, a feeling of alarm, confusion, or dismay, often caused by something unexpected, anxiety, disquiet, trepidation. The news caused worldwide consternation and a panic on the stock exchange. It is epitome, a highly representative example of a type, class, or characteristic, perfect example or embodiment. Isn't she just the epitome of elegance? Number 9 is irascible, easily provoked to anger or outbursts of temper, showing or typical of anger, irritable, touchy, testy, petulant, grumpy, snappy, cantankerous, ornery, cross. Her irascible temper frightened me. What about penury? Penury is extreme poverty, pennilessness, destitution, indigence, neediness, impecuniousness, and impoverishment. When his pension fund failed, George feared he would end his days in Tenure 11 is the sanguine. What's that? Confident, cheerfully optimistic, hopeful, positive, upbeat, flushed with a healthy rosy color. That's sanguine. A sanguine complexion, you know, okay, a bright, sanguine, having a tinge of red. Let us not be too sanguine. It's about the outcome. Something could go wrong. Okay, what about the next one? Tenure. Then sanguine. Sanguine anachronism. Anachronism is something from a different period of time, modern idea or invention wrongly placed in a historical setting in fiction or drama, a person, thing, idea, or custom that seems to belong to a different time in history. Making of chronological mistake. Shakespeare's reference to clocks in Julius Caesar is an anachronism. No clocks existed in Caesar's time. Consummate. Consummate is excellent, skillful, or accomplished, utter, or total. Conclude something, achieve something. I have never seen anyone who makes as many stupid errors as you do. You must be a consummate idiot. What about disparage? Disparage is to refer disapprovingly or contemptuously to somebody or something, to criticize, belittle, laugh at. Do not disparage anybody's contribution. These little gifts add up to large sums. Disparage. What about halcyon? Halcyon was a tranquil and free from disturbance or care, mythological bird. In those halcyon days, people were not worried about snake attacks and bombings. So halcyon. What about 16? 16 is liberty. Libertine is somebody, usually a man who indulges in pleasure that are considered immoral and who has sexual relationship with many people, philanderer, Don Juan, gigolo, adulterer. Although she was aware of his reputation as a libertine, she felt she could reform him. Nuance was that a very slight or subtle difference in meaning, feeling, tone, or color, the use of subtle shades of meaning or feeling. The unskilled eye of the layperson has difficulty in discerning the nuances of color in the painting. What about 18? 18 is ponderous, lumbering and laborious in movement, weighty without liveliness or wit, wildy, moving heavily, dull, laborious, tiresome, tedious. His humor lacked the light touch. His jokes were always ponderous. What about 19? 19 is specious, appearing to be true but really false, seeming reasonable but incorrect, spurious, specious or something false. Let us not be misled by such spurious arguments. Twinkle or braid. To criticize or scold somebody in a harsh manner, reprimand somebody, tell of reproach. I must upbraid him for his unruly behavior. What about 21? Apostate. One who abandons his religious, political beliefs or allegiance, renouncer, deserter, renegade. Because he switched from one party to another, his former friends shunned him as an apostate. What about number 22? 22 is can. Boring talk filled with cliches and platitudes, insincere or hypocritical talk, especially regarding morals or religion, false piety. Angry that the president had slashed the educational budget, we discuss his speech on the importance of education as mayor can. What is 23? 23 is crass. Vulgar, lacking refinement or delicacy, the philosophers deplored the crass commercialism. Discrete, completely separate and unconnected, distinct. The universe is composed of discrete bodies. Espouse, to adopt or support something as a belief or cause. Advocate, promote, champion, embrace, take up. She was always ready to espouse a worthy or spouses to support. Okay, so 26 is foible. Foible is an idiosyncrasy of or small weakness, quirk, bad habit, eccentricity, the weakest part of a sword blade from the middle of the point. We can overcome the foibles of our friends. No one is perfect. The next one is 27 is hallow. What's that? Hallow is holy or kept for religious use, sanctified, buried in hallowed ground, respected, regarded with great respect or reverence, the hallowed pages of our country's history. Blessed, consecrated, deified, sacred, and revered. She was laid to rest in hallowed ground. 28 was that inimical, unfavorable to something, showing hostility. She felt that they were inimical and were hoping for her downfall. What about 29? Martin. Martin is somebody who imposes strict discipline on other disciplinarian, stickler, despot, hardliner, perfectionist. The commanding officer was a martinet who observed each regulation to the letter. Ritual officials, characteristic of somebody who is eager to give unwanted help or advice. Meddlesome, disapproving, bossy, bureaucratic, self